Okay, ever since the AFC divisional game, I've seen a whole lot of Ravens fans coming out saying what they feel the team needs to do to get to the next level, what we need to do in the offseason, whom we must let go, who we got to keep, all that stuff. Seen all that. And ever said that, I've also seen people, talk about they're frustrated with certain Ravens fans, and I understand that as well. I'm a firm believer that every fan base has, those certain group of fans that people just look at like, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I'll say as far as offseason, I'm seeing a lot of names tagged to the Ravens. Like, the most recent one I've seen was Jair Alexander, the Ravens picking him up. How Ravens fans would love to see him. First thing, anytime I see a mock draft, anytime it's offseason, I just got a question. Why is it every single time that the offseason comes, the Ravens, anytime somebody's talking about anyone in drafting-wise, it's always a cornerback. It's always a defensive back. Why? Either a defensive back or a wide receiver. Y'all aware that there are other positions on the Ravens roster that need to be addressed, right? Yet alone other roster positions in general for the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like it's literally every year. Now, for me personally, I don't know if I've ever established this, but I am a huge fan of pass rushers. You can never have too many pass rushers. And I feel like, yes, we did pretty good. We ranked second as far as sacks last year in the season. But we need more pass rushers. We need to make these quarterbacks more uncomfortable. I'm all for us having good defensive backs, but we've been doing pretty good in that department. We've been getting a lot of defensive backs and cornerbacks in the last couple of drafts. So I think, hopefully if I'm Eric DeCosta, I'm looking at young pass rushers coming up, see who can give us another extra edge as far as taking down these quarterbacks, because if you chop the head off the Cobra, the rest is a cakewalk.
He ain't lying. That's right.
But I've seen people come out and say, they talking about, like I said before, tagging Jair Alexander's name to the Ravens, and some guys getting frustrated saying, like, we need to address the offensive line. And to a degree, I understand that. But let's be real about this. 9 times out of 10, Ronnie Stanley, who I will say played a lot better than I thought he would this past season. I'm going to go ahead and give this dude his flowers, because I just had a feeling. I didn't think he would underperform. I just felt like, the previous seasons, he always got hurt. So I just saw him getting hurt again. And then us putting Rosengardner, switching him to left tackle, which I honestly see the Ravens doing this offseason. Just moving him from right tackle to left. He played that in college, so he has experience there. And I feel like that would be a good move. But the way Stanley performed this season, I think he kind of sort of outplayed himself out of Baltimore. The cap's kind of tight right now. We got a bunch of adjustments we need to make, players we need to maybe restructure their contracts. So 9 times out of 10, he's out of the door. But we still got guys on the roster, and we can get guys later on in the draft that we could add to the Ravens that could potentially fix our offensive line problems. And keep in mind, we're ranked 27th in the draft this year. And, the Ravens don't really move up that often in the draft. Sometimes they do, but it's very rare. So I'm not seeing them doing that this year. And 9 times, like, if we are in the first round and there are any offensive tackles or offensive linemen that are available that are top tier, they might be gone by the time the Ravens get on the board. So 2nd, 3rd rounds, we can look at improving the offensive line through that. The Ravens have always done that. I mean, shoot, we found Marshall Yonder like that. So I'm not 100% worried about that particular spot. But one thing I will say, and this is something that's been going on since last year, it's not just a first-time thing because of what happened in the divisional playoff round against the Bills. Mark Andrews' name has been thrown around to be traded for quite some time.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
And I'm going to stand on this mountain. I'm going to plant my flag here. I assure you, us at Rough House will never, ever spew that foolishness about trading Mark Andrews away to any other team.
As Jackson points, throws it downfield. Andrews got 3. Lamar couldn't get it to him, but he caught it anyway.
Say what you want about Mark Andrews in that particular situation last time he played a football game. But Mark Andrews has been one of the best players the Ravens have ever had in the history of the franchise. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he have the most touchdowns, catches by anybody, tight end, receiver, or anything like that? And yes, last year he got hurt, missed a lot of time, and Isaiah Likely stepped up. But this is a team that uses 2 tight ends. And these 2 tight ends are freaking ridiculously awesome.
Field. Isaiah Likely with a block down the sideline. Likely inside the 5 to the end zone.
So anytime I see Ravens fans talk about trade him or let him go or whatever, yeah, kill that noise. Kill that noise. And if your argument is when the playoffs come that he underperforms and Isaiah Likely steps up, well, let's just take a page out of the movie Major League.
Give me Vaughn. You want Vaughn? I know he hadn't done very well against this guy, but I got a hunch he's due.
In that movie, there was this pitcher named Rick Vaughn who was doing pretty good as he was developing in the season, but he was struggling against the New York Yankees. He was always this one pitch. There was this one batter that always gave him crap. So when it came to the postseason, his coach decided to tell him, hey, I'm not going to start you against the Yankees because you struggle against that guy. And Rick, he took it. But when the game was coming down to the final minutes, the coach made a decision. After benching Vaughn, he then brought him back to go against the guy he was struggling against. And after adding that fuel, adding that fire to Vaughn, that extra boost, he put him in there, and Vaughn struck him out. And they might be asking, well, what does this have to do with football? This is a baseball movie. What are you getting at? A tight end with the skill set of Mark Andrews, you just don't let him walk, and you just don't trade him. You utilize him in the regular season. He has had a lot of success there. Let the boy eat, let him cook, let him do his thing in the regular season. When it comes to the postseason, if he's not showing any kind of a sign that he's improving or doing any better, you got Isaiah Likely to fall back on. Start Likely more, give him more reps, but that does not mean you get rid of Mark Andrews. There may be some in the Ravens flock that have lost their trust and are willing to part ways with Mark Andrews, but I'm not one of them. I mean, shoot, it wasn't that long ago when the same people were saying let's trade or cut or get rid of Marlon Humphrey, and he just had an all-pro season.
You stupid idiot.
Besides, what sense does it make to get rid of Lamar Jackson's #1 security blanket? It doesn't make any sense. What this team has taught me the last 2 seasons is not just the players that need to be held accountable. The coaches are just as, if not more, responsible for anything that happens. And even though that divisional round can't go solely on the coaching, whether they believe it or not, they got a lot of proving themselves to do as well. Now, I said it, if we don't make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, that John Harbaugh needs to be let go, I still stand on that. But I know it's not going to happen, at least right now. He's on the last year of his contract at this moment, and I'm really hoping I don't see any news or signs of a restructure or extension on his contract either. This isn't being sour and this isn't being bitter. This is legit thought process. Eric DeCosta and Steve Bisciotti can bring in any player that they want. If you got mediocre coaching simply because of what somebody did in the past, then you're wasting a legendary future. Thank you for watching this video. By all means, like, share, and leave a comment. And if you want to see more content, go ahead and push the subscribe and notification button for videos already up and for the ones to come.